I want to take a moment and look at 301, 302, 303, and 307. And we were just talking about that. And then I did a whole bunch of JSON. So cleaned up the JSON because I think we ended up doing a little JSON in the Photoblog thing we did to put it into the cookie. So I thought, well, that should be really something we teach before the Photoblog cookie. And so I put together a lot of really nice JSON examples over the weekend, and we'll cruise through them. But as part of that, I kind of like came up with this status code thing. And so this will be one of your homework assignments just to explain that. And this is basically the solution. But you now have access to this document. So you could just look to this document to get your information, or you could go to Wikipedia. I don't know. Just look to the solution maybe and build the page yourself. But 301, 302, 303, and 307, and then 418 teapot. We already talked about that. And interestingly, if you go to google.com/teapot, they have a little Easter egg. I'm a teapot.
You can click on it too.
And I don't know what happened. Isn't that cool? The crested entity body is short and stout. Tip me over and pour me out. And if you look at the status code on that, 418, I'm a teapot, is the status code. It's kind of funny. That's fun. So move permanently. So move permanently. If 301 tells the browser that the resource at the URI has been changed permanently, subsequently the browser will not make another request to the original link. So that's like the highlight. So if you 301 something, then anytime somebody goes back to that link, they're never going to, right, unless they clear their cache, they're always, when they want to go to this link, the browser won't even send the request. The browser will just say, we're sending you there. Right? So if originally somebody asked for this, the client says, hey, right, here's the status request line, and get index PHP at example.org using HTTP 1.1, so that's the request line. And then the server responds, and here's the status line, response line, right? 301 move permanently, and then in the header they set location to this. Anytime you try to go to index PHP again, it's just going to send you to index ASP. So that's the browser's going to do that. It won't even, so change permanently, right? The browser will not make another request to the original link. So use 301 with caution. And then 302, somebody wants to go to index.html at example.com, right? And it's just going to, it's changed temporarily, redirect this time only. So if they later come back to index.html at example.com, the browser won't automatically send them to that link. The browser will, send this request back to the server, and then the server can respond however they want. And as part of that, HTTP status code 302 is a common way of performing URL redirection. A response, any HTTP response for the status code will additionally provide a URL in the location header field, right? So there it is. The user agent, the browser, is invited by a response with this code to make a second, otherwise identical request to the new URL. Otherwise identical, so the same method, right? But many web browsers implement this code in a manner that violated the standard, changing the request type of the new request to GET, regardless of the type employed in the original request, right? So then they created 303 and 307 to be like, well, do you want it to be the same or different, the method? And so you could use those to specify the method. And then they changed the specification to allow user agents to rewrite post to GET for 302. So this is no longer, otherwise identical is no longer, right? But if you use 302 and it's a post, your browser might rewrite it to GET. Just FYI. And then here, 303 is same as 302, but use the GET verb. So it's, this time only changed temporarily and uses the GET verb. And then 307 is a temporary redirect. And same as 302, and it uses the same verb as the original, so post or get, right? So 307 is what originally 302 was intended for. Use the same verb. And then 303 just always use get, regardless of whether or not it came in as post and get. So I put together a little code so we could see that in action.
While you're going there,
Yeah.
little story from a dev.
Sure, let's hear it.
these do matter. If you're getting a really wonky error as you're making your server, check your status numbers because the browser will do different things based on it. I believe I was using 303, and for some reason in App Engine it would not get the new page. It was giving me a post error. I changed it to 302.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Whole problem solved itself right then and there.
Yeah, and I wasn't clear on the differences between that. We discussed it a little bit, and I was like, all right, I got to do a little research on that. And then, of course, I always like to see, well, how's it actually work? So I put together some redirected examples here, and 302, 303, 307, and 301. And so 302, I'll let you take that code in for a moment. So our routing with handle funcs and listen and serve. And when you go to index, I'm creating a constant and just /dog and header set location to the URL, the constant. And then right header status found. So status found is 302. Was it Muhammad who said use those constant words? Is he here?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So there are the constant words. And this example right here is straight out of App Engine example we're going to see. So I kind of wanted to show you this before we get into App Engine so you could understand it. Get more into App Engine, right? Because you're going to see that line right there. And so just...
I think it is preferred instead of those two separate lines to use http.redirect, which takes the response, the request, and the status code, and the location, or maybe not the request.
So response writer, request, URL, and a code. So that would be, whoops, I'm right there. Response, request, URL, or the rule, and the code would be 302, or status found. There we go. So you could also do that. And if we looked in at that, I wonder what we would see. If arrow, parse, scheme, old path, URL, query. I'm just looking to see if headers are set.
There they are.
Header set, location, URL, right header, code. Header set, location, URL, right header, code. That's kind of cool. But that just spells it out, kind of 2 steps. Would that be a little bit more robust? Because it seemed like it was doing all kinds of checking on the URL string and
doing a bunch of
everything.
stuff on the URL to make sure it's accurate and such. Yeah.
So all we got to do is write that status code, and then it'll redirect to dog, and when dog goes, runs the func canine, and says, "What's up, dog?" Does it smell like up dog in here to you guys? Smell like up dog? Anybody? Does? Huh? No? Up dog? My friend said it to me. I said, "What's up, dog?" And he's like, "Not much. What's up, dog?" I was like, "Oh man, I fell for that." Because I was like, "What's up, dog?" So there's this cool little plug-in on Chrome, Live HTTP headers. And now if I go to like Reddit, well, I just did a Google search, but now here are like all my crazy, right? All these different requests. But I'm just seeing all the requests going out, and I can look at any of them and see, what it was. And I could choose to clear them all. So I just cleared them all. I'm going to close these others so I'm not getting any other stuff coming in. Close that one. So run it. I used to have a whole other path, so my fingers haven't quite memorized what I'm supposed to type in. changed it. So nothing showing there still. Localhost 8080. I made. It's still running or
Connection refused.
clear? Let's try it again. There we go. So I don't need that one. Localhost 8080, right? Get and then status 302. So let's see, how did this happen? Just 1 second. It takes me a second to, and I'll zoom in on this. So here's the request. Get at root HTTP1 localhost, right, 8080. And then the response code, HTTP1, so response status line, 302 found, right? And location is set to dog. So there's the header, set to dog. So 302 came back. I made a GET request. 302 came back. And when that came back, it made another GET request to that, and it came back 200 OK. So that's 302. And so I made a GET and then another GET, right? And
Favicon.
and then favicon actually also got redirected to dog. Kind of funny. All right, so that's kind of cool. And let me bring up that one document I closed just so we could check and remind ourselves what 302 means. And then clear this out. So change temporarily, redirect this time only. And I'm waiting to show you 301, right? Because after we've run 301, then whenever we go to that localhost again, we redirect. Like if I come back and run a 302, it's never going to allow me to get that 302. It'll just be the 301 because my browser has stored that. So let me just show you. Let's take a picture of it. I'm going to run this one once more. And nothing's here. I'll go to localhost 8080, and that's what I get. Why did I get all that? That's more reasonable. And then this is like the main stuff right there. So we'll take a screenshot of that. So that's our original request where we responded 302. And then 303, I put together a form. That form has a method post, and it just requests a name and a submit button. And then in the code, right, my template, parse my templates, handle func, dog, listen and serve. And then, you know, if the request is not this, then not found. And so that's like favicon or anything else. And if the request method is post, then when it's post coming in, right, the request method is post, then it will change it to this and set the location to the URL /dog and status C other. Status C other is 303. My constants are orange, by the way. It's not my favorite color for this coding scheme, but because at first I'm like, what's wrong with my code? It's like, oh, that's just the color. And then 303 meant what? Same as 202, use the get verb. So even though I'm making a post, I'm going to get as the redirect request. And then same what's up dog.
So 302 is primarily used when you're sending data in from a form. Basically means we process the form, go here for the web page that you're going to draw.
Well, let's just look at this first. 200. So I asked for a root, and it served up root, and everything's okay. And then I asked for the favicon, and I served back with the favicon, HTTP not found, right? So we got a 404 on the favicon. And now I'm going to fill out this form and submit it. So there we go. And submitting back to the same one. So it redirected to dog. So when I submitted, I made a post, and I got back a response 303, see other, right? And go to location dog. So it sent me to dog, but with get. Just kind of interesting. And so the notes on that was 303 uses the get verb. Right, it's a temporary redirect, uses the get verb. And you're saying 302 should be used with
I'm saying 303 basically means we process the form, don't repeat the form data.
Yeah, great. 303, let's put that into the notes. I like that. JSON solution 303. That's about it?
Yeah.
I know you put it into different words. How do you paraphrase? You'd probably say it more eloquently. Daniel, paraphrase. Good for using once you have processed form submitted by post method. Now that the form has been processed, redirect to a new URL using the get method. Because 303 is the other, the get verb, and it's temporary, so it's not permanent. So that's cool. So get method. And then 307, this uses the same verb as the original.
Yep, and if it's a post, it'll copy all the post data too. So that's for you got data from a form. You're not processing it here. You say process it over there.
Cool. Nice notes. Same verb as the original. 307. I guess I gotta look at the template just to make sure I didn't change anything. Same template. And now parse it, serve it, not found, post, but now temporary redirect 307. And blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Clear. So favicon 404, and this one, that was my request status line. Here's the response status line, and everything's okay. Now I'm going to submit. What's up, dog? And so I submitted, and it was post, right? And then I did.
See the data it has in there?
Huh?
Wondering if there's a way to see the data. It doesn't look in this plugin.
And then there's a temporary redirect, 307, and the method is post. Right there, you can see the method is post. Right, redirects with post. So that redirected to there, and the method was post. And you wanted to see the data. Maybe if we did this, right? And then I could just resubmit, and then take a look. And isn't it, what's up, dog? No. Preview, cookies, timing. Where did I see? Is it in here? Oh, right there, requested payload. F name equals James.
So it kept the form data to the new URL.
That's cool. So that's 307. You guys want a quiz? Get out a pen and piece of paper and write down 302, 303, 307. What's the difference? Well, so let's take a look at
Does everybody know how to quickly guesstimate what an error, what a particular status code means? It's the first digit.
oh yeah.
So the first digit of your status code tells you basically what it means. Any status code that starts with 3 is going to be a redirect of some kind. Any status code that starts with 2 is going to be everything went right. 4 is going to be a client error, and 5 is going to be a server error. And then 1 is pretty rarely done. It's informational. Go usually deals with all that for it by itself. So those are the broad categories. So if you just randomly see some error status code that starts with a 5, you know it's a server error. You may not know exactly what server error it is, but you know it's something went wrong on the server.
All right, so it looks like we're already running 307. We just saw that, didn't we? Do we see 307 and it
Yeah.
did the post and
Yep.
everything? We
Yeah,
saw that.
307.
So let's look at the permanent one. 301, go run main, and clear all this out. I don't know if it will show me my stuff here if I go into. Let me try this, so I don't have to clear out my cache. I'm going to go into incognito mode, and I no longer have my little things because it doesn't know it's me, so I no longer have my settings.
You can enable extensions in incognito mode.
How do you do it?
Just in the settings.
In settings?
Allow an incognito. First check box.
Need the blue. There we go. Sweet. Cool. Nice. But I left incognito. Ah, cool. So there's that. But I left incognito. So here I am in incognito. Click the thing. I leave incognito.
It maybe that's not incognito, but the incognito window.
All right, let's
needs to
see.
be Open.
Where's my incognito window?
Is it not open?
New tab. There it is. It's still open. Let's just see if it's logging. Cool, it did it. All right. Bring all to front. That's not what I want. I want this one. Close that. Sorry if this is painful. You're like, so slow. Put that there. This here. All right, we're in business.
You want to clear?
Yeah, I will. Clear all that. Okay, here we go. You ready? Localhost 301, right? Get, and then it does 301 move permanently, and then here we go. Get, right? 200 request. It goes there. Okay, cool. Move permanently, and now I'm going to. But that's not in cache. I don't know if it's remembering it. We'll see if this example works.
While the window's still open.
And the next one is I want to run 302 again.
And, excuse me, the gets and posts, those are in the templates, correct?
Get and post are something the browser uses to sends to your to the server. So gets
when
are
the
usually
browser is getting something, it's getting it from the server.
yeah. So
And when it's posting
usually
something, it's posting from the.
posting to the server. So usually a get is usually when you type something in the URL bar, that's going to be a get. When you type something into a form like username and password, that's usually going to be a post.
So it's no longer giving me 302, even though I'm running 302. It's giving me 301 because that's permanent. And before, what we got when we ran 302 was this, right? Gave us a 302. But now it's giving us 301. So even though I'm running the 302 software, because I ran 301 before, my browser has remembered, hey, this is a permanent redirect. It doesn't even talk to the server. It just, when I try to go there, it sends me to the other URL. So that's what permanent does. That took a lot longer to explain than I thought. How many people found that to be a total waste of time? How many people like, okay, that shed light on 301, 302, 303, and 307 for you? All right, good. Cool.
So you can say that when you ran the 301 code and you finished running it, when you tried running the 302, the browser remembered, hey,
Yeah,
We had a 301 here before. Let's
Yeah.
just say that again.
permanent. I'm just not even going to talk to the server. I'm just going to move you to that location and ask for that.
So Google uses that to go from google.com to www.google.com. Usually everyone just types google.com. They just have a 301 set there to the www site.
That's cool. Stop.